פרופסור אלכס רולין הוא פרופסור לביולוגיה באוניברסיטה של לוזאן בשוויץ. הוא עשה מגוון נושאים, ההתמחות שלו היא בתחום התנשמות, ונראה לי שעל זה הוא ידבר, וזה גם חלק מהדברים שהוזכרו כבר קודם, החיבור המאוד אמיץ שלו לפרויקט שמובל פה בארץ על ידי יוסי ואחרים, בשיתוף עם הפלסטינים ובשיתוף עם הירדנים, והוא לוקח חלק מאוד מאוד פעיל בתוך הסיפור הזה, מתוך מטרה שכמו שאמר כבר גנרל קיקיס, יש עת למלחמה, יש עת לשלום, וכדאי שנעשה את הדברים ביחד, גם כפי שציינה פרופסור שור עוד קודם. בואו נשתף פעולה, התוצאות רק תהיינה הרבה יותר טובות. פרופסור אלכסנדר.
I hope it works. I hope it works. Well, anyway, I will start. Thank you very much. This is a great honor for me to be here. Maybe you might wonder what is the connection, why I'm here today. Okay, thank you. Great. Okay, what is my connection with nature conservation and IDF? First of all, I met Yossi Leshem in 2008 in Vienna. He gave a talk about barn owls, and I gave a talk about barn owls as well. And he succeeded to convince me, as you know, he's very, very strong for this, to come in Israel. And since this time, I came at least 15 times here, and I fell in love with your country and with Jordan and Palestine. And what is my connection with the IDF? I think the world is very, very small. Yossi Leshem made me the pleasure and the honor to come in Switzerland last summer for 4 months for a sabbatical. And we really ran across the country. And I proposed to Yossi, Yossi, come to my hometown to visit the Air Force place. And what he did not know, and what I did not know as well, is that Ellie and Kobe were coming 30 years ago at the same place where I was born. I'm born in Payerne. And the commander of the Air Force place, I was in school with him, the Colonel Lieutenant. And more, Lieutenant General Kekes, I was in school with his daughter. Thus, I know more or less all the stories, and this was a great shock for both of us. Yossi asked me today not to talk about what we can learn from birds, how to fly, but if we could learn something ourselves, everybody here in the room. And this is the goal of my topic, family conflicts. First, this was a great shock for me, and Yossi, 2 days ago, or 1 day I think, we were in the car, he received a phone call saying that Mr. Professor Ahmad Zavi died. And I have to admit that I admire my whole life this person. I had the great pleasure to meet him not only abroad but in Israel as well. And very few scientists, really very few, can pretend to have such a huge impact in one field, the evolutionary biology. All biologists know Ahmad Zavi. It was me as a student, was a great stimulator, very, very strong impact on myself. And I just showed the paper, which was really a revolution in evolutionary biology. He wrote in 1975. Okay, family conflicts. There are 3 types, as I'm sure you all know this, of course. Sex conflict, men and women. We are quite often in conflict. Parent-offspring conflicts. As soon as you get kids, you understand this very quickly. And sibling competition. Let's start with sex conflicts. Okay, the question is who is offering the flat, who is doing the wash, the kitchen. That's the unusual case, by the way. I'm not doing it, by the way. This is a bit a shame. I'm sure that the women will be happy. In some, but very few cases, women wins the conflicts. And this is the famous case with the mantis, where after copulating, the female just eats the male. Why? Maybe it's quite good not only to copulate, but to eat, I guess. But unfortunately, maybe the males quite often win. And you can see this is maybe one of the worst cases. You see on your left, this is the penis of insect. And to copulate, the females don't have a vagina. What it does, this is like a knife. It just enters like a knife the body of this insect to send the sperm. And why does it do this? I think the simple reason, this is to make sure that the female doesn't want to copulate anymore. This is sure that all the babies will be his own babies, not the baby of another guy. Okay, the barn owl. The barn owl is very interesting. We can find the barn owl everywhere on the planet, almost, not only in Israel, Jordan, Palestine, but also in Switzerland. I'm working with this bird for almost 20 years. Wonderful birds, very fascinating. And I think we can learn a lot of this bird. And I will show you a couple of results showing that the barn owl can have some moral. They have a very intense social life, as we have, all of us. First, let's talk a bit about sexuality. What do they do? In human, we are what we say, or in mammals, I would say, we are polygamous, like the Bedouins. We have several wives. Birds, they are monogamous. They have to raise the chicks, mother and father. If one of the parents leaves, most of the chicks will die. They have to stay together to raise the family. Thus the question is, what's going on? We all do mate choice. We don't mate with a partner at random. We have some criteria, beautiful, strong, something like this, which represent genetic quality. We want to have strong kids, or parental care to bring a lot of food, a lot of money at home. Thus to increase our fitness, how do we do? We can do a couple of things. The first one is just to have a lover, you know, we're hidden lover. And the goal is to produce extra chicks in other nests. Thus we don't take care of these chicks, we don't spend money for these chicks. There's another guy who will raise our own kids. And in the barn owl, we study this thing. You do paternity analysis. But only 2% of the chicks in the wild are produced by another male than the one which feeds it. Thus, it seems that they don't go, you know, they don't have lovers, it seems, but it's not the case. In fact, they have lovers. They just go away from the nest. They want to have another woman or another man. But when they do this, they are not successful to fertilize the eggs, simply because the male in the barn owl can copulate 70 times per day. So that this is as if he was just sending an ocean of sperm, so that if there is a guy coming to copulate, he has no chance to fertilize the eggs. And this is why there are so few illegitimate kids in the barn owl nests. What about divorce? Sometimes, you know, we are together, they try to raise the family, and sometimes it doesn't work as they would like initially, and they divorce. This is the statistics in Israel and Switzerland about divorce in human. You can see 25 of the pairs divorce. What about birds? You see Sweden, we are quite liberal, 55%. In birds, in the barn owl, this is in red. This is like in Switzerland and like in Israel. About 25% of all pairs divorce from one year to the next. And you can see that some birds divorce every year, like some herons. They always change mate. And then some others, like the albatross, they stay faithful their whole life, for 40 years, always with the same partner. They don't change at all. One example, I'm sure Kobe and Ellie, Kobe is not here, but will recognize Bayern and the Air Force Place. And this is one example of one female. This is the ring number. She bred in 2006 in this village. She had one male. The male moved. He had a new female. The female in 2007 had another male. In 2008, she changed again male. The male, 2009, another male. She's always changing male, as you can see. The male changed the female, and then she moved there, and she stayed there, and she changed twice again the male. Thus, in total, she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 males. It's nevertheless less than Elizabeth Taylor. She had 8. We are still working very hard to succeed, to make better, to have some data showing that barn owls can have 8 mates as well. Why, I would say, why do we divorce? No, why do barn owls divorce? The reason, that's when they have a poor reproductive success. You know, that's very easy. When you don't succeed to raise your kids properly, you always say, no, this is your fault, that's not mine, that's you. And that's what they do, the barn owls. You can see when they have few chicks, 3.5 in 1 year, they are very likely to change mates. And when they have very good reproductive success, they stay faithful together because it works very well. Why to change? No reason. And when you change, you just restore reproductive success. The next year, you produce a lot of chicks. This picture was taken in Israel, by the way. That's not a fake picture. This is a real brood of 16 chicks. Amazing. Thus you say, okay, that's my partner was not very good, I was not successful enough with my kids, with my family, or maybe you are not happy because, not because your partner is not good, but because you are not compatible with this partner. What about the barn owls? And indeed, they are looking for a compatible partner. This graph is a bit complex, but it's very easy to understand. The longer you stay with the same partner, the better you come for reproducing year after year. Thus you can breed. If you stay 3 years with your partner, you will breed very early in the season. If you stay only 1 year, you will breed later. And the number of chicks which die in the nest, there are fewer chicks which die if you stay longer with your partner. Probably you can coordinate much better together and to have a better life all together. Okay, this is divorce. And often we always say, okay, that's the man. You know, the man is always looking for women. And where is the justice? The females are not very happy. And here I will show you some data showing that in the barn owl, that's the opposite. The females wins the battle. And this is, you know, stories, it's not very, how can I say this, very elegant or very, you know, well, that's, yeah, it's not very, not poetry. Everybody knows that in human, we call the females, which are a bit older, who are looking for young guys, cougar. And this is exactly the same in the barn owl. We have barn owls like this. This is the Air Force place in Payerne here. And last year we followed many pairs with GPS. And we were interested to see what the female is doing when the male is feeding the chicks. In the barn owl, as in most raptors, usually that's the male who feeds the chicks. Most of the prey items brought to the family, that's the male. The female is responsible to lay the eggs, to incubate the eggs, and when the chicks are small, to feed the chicks. But once the chicks are big enough to eat by themselves, she can do what she wants. Either she helps the male or she goes somewhere else. And this is what we did. You see in white, that's the male. I will show it again because it goes fast. The male is going not very far from the nest and it brings food back. And in red, that's the female. The female, she is not feeding the chicks. The male doesn't know what she does, but we know because we put the GPS. The female is just going somewhere else. And I show you here. These white houses are nest boxes where there might be another male. Here. Thus the female is just visiting all nests one after the other, just to look if there might be another male, free of charge. We could produce the second brood, because they produce 2 broods in a year. And that's while the male is working as crazy, the female is just looking for another male. And she succeeded. 3 weeks later, she found a young guy, just at the top, we don't see the nest, and she started the second brood. Even better, Avenches, Payerne is just beside Avenches. I was born in Payerne, and I'm working in Luzan. One night, we put the GPS, and the female, in just one night, this is 50 kilometers from Avenches to Luzan, she flew away just in one night, just looking for some guys in Luzan. 3 days later, we found the female back at the nest. The male had no idea what she was doing, but she was just looking for males. By the way, I did the same. I was born in Payerne, I'm working in Luzan. Here, okay, we are in a Jewish country, but in Switzerland we have Catholic and Protestant. I'm Catholic. The Catholic usually are more, lively, we like to joke, and the Protestant are more, strict. And this region is Protestant, but this small part is Catholic, a small place where Catholic. And I think the Banals learned about this, about the Catholic. What you see the female going everywhere, and the male just working as crazy for the chicks, and the female just looking for some males. The best is probably here. This is in Avanche, 10 kilometers from Payerne. This is the nest box. The male working, the female going for some male. She comes back just to see if the male is still here, and she goes to another place. You say, wow, my God, this female is not very, where's the moral? But the male had two females at the same time as well. The male was polygamous, and the female, for revenge, was looking for another guy. Okay, this is sex conflicts, but there are other conflicts, parent-offspring conflicts. Everybody knows that kids want more than what we can give. Why is this the case? Because the families are usually quite big, particularly in some kibbutzes and the Bedouins. That's what I learned the other day. And the parents have to feed all these families. It's not easy, but the kids are not happy. I want more. And this is why there is a conflict between the parents and the offspring. And not only this, but we have to share the money. And it's not always easy. That's where the siblings just compete. And they fight. In birds, they can fight. And this is the big story with the barn owl. In most birds, the siblings can kill each other, like the herons. They're huge, big, like a knife, and they just beat each other until one of the chick dies. In the barn owl, they resolve the problems more elegantly. Okay, thus how can you resolve this? Either you kill each other, like in herons, or you negotiate, like in the barn owl, you will see, or you cooperate, you just share. Sorry, this is in French, I will show it 2 times. Just look, this is all our chicks, barn owl chicks. There are big chicks, small chicks. And look at the behavior of the big one, just on your right.
Dans une famille de rapaces. Le plus âgé offre une proie au dernier né.
I show it again.
Voici un comportement tout à fait inhabituel dans une famille de rapaces. Le plus âgé offre une proie au dernier né.
The biggest just took a prey and gave it to his sibling. It's amazing. He's just sharing food. It's very nice. Now see this movie. This is just to show in one night what's going on in the barn owl brood nest. The parent is coming with food. It enters the nest box with a vole here. And he gives the food to the chicks. Now this is the funny part. Look, my parents always told me you have to cut your meat in pieces to eat. And I think he did not learn the lesson. Now I show this to my kids to say, now you have to cut. Okay, listen to what they do. It's a bit messy, huh? Okay, what do they do? You heard before the parents usually when you observe sparrows, they do no noise. The parents come and they beg a lot. They make noise because they tell, give the food to me, not to my brother. And here they talk as well when the parents are away. And once the parents arrive, they start to shout to say, give it to me. And then once he has the prey, he continues to shout because he tells to his brother, don't steal my prey, otherwise I knock you off, you know. Just to say, I'm very hungry, I need the food. Thus, in the absence of the parents, they beg, they call a lot, and in fact, they discuss to each other. They don't talk to the parents, they talk to each other. They make so much noise that we don't put the nest boxes in front of the sleeping room of the farmers because they cannot sleep anymore at the night. This is so noisy. And what they do, this is what we call sibling negotiation. In the absence of the parents, they talk to each other, telling, I'm more hungry than you. The next prey is for me. Instead of fighting, they resolve the conflict pacifically, more or less, by talking to each other. Like politicians, we negotiate. It takes hours, by the way. When the parents arrive, they beg to the parents, say, give it to me, give it to me. But the way they call to the parents depends on the negotiation process which took place before. If I told to my brothers I'm very hungry, I will talk a lot to the parents, but my brothers will refrain from talking to the parents. Thus, I don't need to fight too much to get the prey. And then the parents give the prey to the guy, the chick which calls a lot. If you want, this is like the SMS. Now we talk to each other, you know, with the SMS. He says, I'm hungry. No, me too. No, but I'm very hungry. He said, I'm very hungry. I'm starving. I say, okay, I give up, that's for you. And this is, I don't have the time to go into details. This is very complex, and this is, in fact, like in human conversation. They have even turn-taking rules. We don't talk, we don't overlap, we don't disturb when somebody talks. We listen to what he says. When he is finished, okay, I can tell. That's really like us. And here, each data point is the duration, the strength of a call. And you see, this is the time. At the start, he starts to call louder and louder, and the sibling just stops to talk. And when he says, I'm hungry, and when my brother stops, and I say, okay, he understood that I'm hungry. Now I'm very tired. I can relax. And I relax. I start to call less loudly. And the other guy say, but before he told me that he was hungry. And he starts again to talk. Thus the conversation, the negotiation takes ages to resolve the problems. Thus, this is a diplomatic resolution of the conflicts. This is quite beautiful, I think. And this is, I will go very shortly to this project that everybody knows, of course, which Yossi and General Abu Rashid Mansour from Jordan started. This is the project about, as Lieutenant General Kekes said, birds know no boundaries, to bring peace with birds. And this is the oak, which metamorphoses into a dove. This is the new symbol for us of peace. And this is led, of course, in this region. And I just want to give tribute to Yossi, to have started this project with my friend Mansour Abu Rashid and Baruch Spiegel, who is probably around here. This is to solve ecological problems. The farmers put too much rodenticides in the fields, thus the farmers put boxes to attract barn owls. And this is the graphic of Yoav Motro, who is here. Farmers put boxes, you can see on the white line. Now there are 3,000 boxes in Israel, it's amazing. And farmers reduced the amount of pesticides they spread in the fields. Thus this is ecologically successful. And here you can see the barn owl, the GPS, like we did in Switzerland, showing that birds which breed in Israel go hunting in Palestine, and the other way around as well, that's the same. Those birds really know no boundaries, no visa. A pair of birds, Jordanian and Israeli. And this year I heard that in Jordan they found a male from Israel breeding with a female from Jordan. A beautiful picture of Palestinian farmers with barn owl in their hands. And why we are here with Lieutenant General Kekes, this is because we believe in this project which can bring good things to everybody. And we are trying now to motivate Switzerland to participate in this project. I always love, General Kekes saw it 20 times now, but still, I like to show this picture. My son with two generals. This was in my home with General Mansour. And we came with TV, Swiss TV, just to finish. We came during 4 days with Swiss TV. They heard about the project, and they came in your region to film, to document this wonderful project taking place in Israel, Palestine, and Jordan. This is General Mansour Abu Rashid from Jordan, in Jordan. And I have to say there was a lot of emotion during this trip, really. I was really moved by this trip. First, Yossi organized was really wonderful. This was in Israel near Beersheba, a school of Bedouins with Jewish kids all together. And we needed maybe 30 minutes to break the ice, and then there was a kid from the Bedouin. He told me, Shakiri, Shakiri. I said, what are you talking about? He said, football. There is Shakiri in Switzerland. He knew all football players from Switzerland. Here, with our Palestinian colleague in Madatrash, this was in Palestine 2 days ago. This picture, everybody knows this picture, but it was a huge pleasure to me when General Mansour Abu Rashid, he asked the farmer to come when we were in Jordan. You see, we wrote with Yossi Lechem in a very prestigious scientific journal a paper about these activities taking place in the Middle East, and I was really very proud. I sent this picture everywhere in Switzerland 10 minutes later to show, wow, I met the farmer, the famous farmer. And the farmer was really amazed when I told him that his picture was everywhere in the world. And 1 day later in Israel, the farmer on the ladder is this guy, Charlie, a wonderful man, and this was a great pleasure again to meet him. And finally, we met this lady in Palestine, a really wonderful lady, 84 years old, and this was really a great moment. Okay, I thank you for your attention. I leave it? Okay.
Thank you, Professor Alex. הפסקה 30 דקות בדיוק, אנחנו חוזרים ב10 במדויק כדי להתחיל את החלקים הבאים של הכנס שלנו. תודה.